Get it when you see it at West Yellowknife.
Count on Chief Meteorologist David Carnes for your reliable forecast.
Marketing can be a very powerful thing, and that certainly is the case when it comes to the marketing, I use that word purposely, behind breast cancer awareness. We now, I think all of us know, when you flip the calendar to October, you're going to see a lot of conversations, and rightly so, since it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Cindy Ricks is back on the show. She's with the American Cancer Society. She brought with her an expert, Dr. Jeffrey Gefter, who is a radiation oncologist. More than 30 some odd years you've been practicing here.
Unfortunately, but I can't count that high. Yes, it's been quite a long time.
Well, I think it's very appropriate then that you would be the one to come, because you and I were just talking, the three of us were, I remember the 1980s, that was 30 some odd years ago. You whispered the word cancer, and certainly breast cancer we didn't even talk about. So when I mentioned the marketing campaign, we talk about it now, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think we've all matured from a healthcare standpoint in this country, and this is a big open question and concern on the minds of lots of people. You know, we're part of Real Men Wear Pink campaign right now for breast cancer research. This is out in the open. There are a group of young male leaders in the community who go out to try to stir up an interest and a concern about raising money for research through the American Cancer Society. And the public understands and wants this now. So we've come a long way, and it does save lives.
Part of what saves those lives, Cindy, is the early detection and the screenings. You were just sharing with me, though, that if you think that a mammogram is the only screening tool, think again?
There's so much more. You need to be asking your doctors questions. You know, it's not just about the mammograms. It's the family history. What cancers are out there. There are several different breast cancers out there, and it's the number 2 leading in female deaths is in breast cancer. So it's not just about waiting till you're 40, in your 40s, to have that mammogram. It's about talking to your doctor if there is a history in your family, but also what all is involved in screening. You may have it in your family, and you may want to be screened a little bit earlier than they normally request you to have some of that screening. And we do have so much information out there to help with this. It's cancer.org/get-screened if you have questions. If you do know of that being in your family, I highly recommend you do look into it, because that's early prevention.
Right.
I mean, it's better to know now.
And that's the key. So as a radiation oncologist, talk to us a little bit about what your approach would be towards the treatment. Once a breast cancer is diagnosed, women then have options. Often radiation is the appropriate avenue.
Yeah, I think also we need to understand that we've come a long way over these 40 some odd years that I've been involved in oncology. The fear of the words breast cancer, you know, have been significantly diminished because of the great progress that we've made. You know, and radiation is one of those elements. When I first started a long time ago, radical mastectomy was still an incredible mainstay and engendered incredible fear, where women would not want to even mention that they are worried that they might have breast cancer. Those days have gone by. We now have effective systemic treatment, chemotherapies that are not the horrible ravages that we used to see all the time. There are immune therapies now that are making a huge difference, and targeted therapies. With radiation, which you mentioned, radiation and surgery go along absolutely together. And the degree of surgery that's now done has tremendously changed.
So does that partnership occur because, and again, each case, of course, is going to be specific and tailor-made, but if a woman has not such an invasive surgery, the radiation can be part of that ability because you can get in there and target it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the changes that have been made in surgery have gone along with great improvements in radiation. The surgery, radical mastectomy, modified radical mastectomy, now lumpectomy, a very small amount of breast tissue has to be removed, and most women are extremely pleased with the end result. They are able to maintain their breasts safely with no loss of potential of cure. But when the lumpectomy is done, the vast majority of those women then go on to radiation.
You brought up a good point because you talked about the Real Men Wear Pink campaign. Certainly women continue to be on the forefront of this effort too, but to have men joining in so publicly in the conversation is good because they learn more about a woman's emotions and her husband's emotions as they go through this.
When I had John Chadwick on, and he brought his sign, ACS Saved My Wife's Life. It was research, and he made it clear it's because of research. And our CEO just put out a statement that as of August 1st, American Cancer Society will invest $71 million in cancer research towards breast cancer. And not only is that just an amazing amount of money to invest in breast cancer and trying to end our fight in cancer, but also just preventing it and providing a future for so many. But it's also the researchers that we are investing this money in are the young researchers, female researchers, to really, really be able for us to have a difference, make a difference.
I want to share your website with people. Before I do, you said to me off camera, Dr. Gefter, just go get your mammogram, let the physician determine whether you want 3D or conventional, but just make your screening appointment and go.
Sure, absolutely. And in these COVID days, there's been a tremendous drop in the screening numbers of individuals, clearly because there's so much fear about going to a hospital or to a healthcare facility. But it's incredibly important that the women understand now that we have vaccines, now that women and healthcare providers are protected, they've got to get back into the routine mammography. And again, it's not just getting the mammogram, it's giving the family history to your primary care physician. Extremely important, because that drives whether a woman may be at high risk or not. And that sort of follows a cascade of how aggressive the screening needs to be, at what age it needs to be started, and what is the specific technique, even including MRIs, that would be in a woman's best interest.
So if you will go to your physician, if you don't have a doctor right now, by all means make an appointment. Don't forget, in terms of the Mary Ellen Locher Breast Cancer Center, they have that mobile mammography that you can take advantage of. Make a screening and learn more at cancer.org/getscreened. Good to see you both.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For 45 years,